Hi, my name's Carly Davis of Luxury Locations, and today I'm excited to tell you I'm here with George Sully, the multidisciplinary designer.
Tuesday Chats with Nadia Dyson.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Glad to be here, Carly.
Yeah, first
Absolutely.
time.
First time here and excited, absolutely, for sure.
Antigua is awful, isn't it?
Oh, man.
What do you think? Initial thoughts?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I actually brought my family, right?
Ah, nice.
So I got 2 boys, wifey, and they're probably swimming in the pool right now. Right?
And I've dragged you away.
Well, you know what? For a good cause, of course. You know what I mean? To talk everything real estate and business and fun and pleasures and Antigua and all the beautiful things. Villa Colby, of course, all the things.
Perfect, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely beautiful spot as well as this. We're currently up here at Sunset on Sugar Ridge, and this is the first time you've been up to the top, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my first time, and the views are beautiful.
Yeah.
The views, actually, they're really amazing. They're breathtaking, actually. It's just, what a place, what a place. You see people enjoying themselves, like just everywhere is just, just everything's happening. I love it.
Exactly, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about you? You
Sure.
seem to have done an incredible amount of things.
Yeah, like you said, I'm a multidisciplinary designer. I do a few things. I have luxury accessories and travel bags that I do. I do footwear as well. I just jumped into a collaboration with Hudson's Bay. Now Hudson's Bay's gone the way of the dinosaurs now, but like I created a real big collection before actually they went. I say left.
Yeah.
I was the #1 furniture designer on the floor,
Wow.
which is crazy because it just speaks to anything that I put my hands on now more than ever. It creates a buzz, it creates a storm. So it's just kind of like, even in the worstest times, I'm always gonna be the best seller.
Yeah, well, well, that shows though that you've got a creative streak throughout. You're not
For sure.
limited to one aspect.
For sure.
If you're doing the furniture and things, obviously that's a great way, but also to do people's appearance and what you're trying to get over the line there.
Yeah.
But actually started with the footwear, did it?
Yeah, well, it started, we can go further back, but we make it really short. Definitely, I started in music, but then music to fashion, and then fashion to footwear. So clothing to footwear. And I knew that footwear was not, like, I love the harder road. And because there's not too many people that will follow you into that. And I'm comfortable in the hard, right?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable there. So then I chose footwear, and nobody's ever caught in Canada, of course. Nobody's caught up to me since. And it's been a while. Well, now everyone is, with technologies and things and access.
Yeah. But you
more people could do. Yeah.
Felt like you were one step ahead.
Absolutely. When I started, there was no footwears. There was no local or independent footwear designers. It was more, your Nikes, Reeboks, New Balances. And then, but I come through at that time where it was very exclusive, and I like that.
Yeah. Do you have a preference about the fashion design or the homeware?
You know what? It's not even a preference as much as I like all facets of everything. So I like to dabble in everything because everything counts.
Yeah.
We're here right now, and of course you need furniture.
Yeah.
You need an aesthetic, right? You need these beautiful things to attract, and every facet is important, right?
Yeah.
So the roofing is just as important as the skylights and the fans and the things and everything. All these things intertwine, and for me, that's been my life in and being a creative. That's just been my whole thing. So wherever I'm needed to juge, whatever I'm needed to bring or to elevate, I'm here to do it. And I'm connected now to have the expertise to bring in people to help with that as well, right? So then it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah. Well, I definitely find that Antigua is in need of a zhuzh. Like, we're currently going through, you'll have seen a lot of the developments happening around the different locations, and it's so exciting to see.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you're originally from Canada,
yes,
right? In Montreal, is it?
Toronto.
Toronto. You're
family, and I have some family in Montreal, absolutely. But Toronto.
Yeah. How do you find? Because have you visited the Caribbean before?
Yes. Dominican Republic. Obviously Haiti. I'm from Haiti. Barbados, Bermuda, Jamaica. I've been all over the Antilles, and you know what I mean.
And how do you find Antigua compares?
I gotta have to say, is anybody? I have to make sure. No, but it's top notch.
Yeah.
It's top notch, and it's just kind of like, but more than just the aesthetic and the beauty, because it's an island, so you're gonna have palm, you're gonna have the island
The
things,
beauty, yeah.
but it's the camaraderie, it's the generosity. It's just right down to the services and just the help and the love. Like there's a lot of just great positive energy everywhere I've turned, everywhere I've gone to. And it's just a beautiful island, but just beautiful people as well.
Yeah.
You know.
And you've actually been doing a little bit of touring. You've done an excursion. I think you went to Stingray City.
Oh yeah. So I'm not much
that?
of an ocean I love admiring the ocean, but not being from afar, right? And again, I'm creative, so I'll make the ocean look the most beautifulest picture.
Yeah.
But going inside this is the first time.
Wow.
And to be honestly, this is the first time, and I think maybe how I was spoken into it was different.
Yeah.
And looked at a different perspective. You know what I mean?
Pair of hands.
And then so I'm like, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go. This is my first time ever traveling the world. This is my first time ever dipping my toes in the ocean, let alone immersing myself in the ocean, let alone holding a stingray.
Yes.
This is a lot of progress.
The two together in Antigua.
In Antigua, I swear, like it's the first time, and everybody knows that because I've been filmed every wait to Sunday, and nobody has captured me on film.
Wow.
In the ocean, holding a stingray.
Well, I, for one, and I know luxury locations on Antigua in itself will be happy that the first time you've done it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, my son, doesn't matter, point him to any waters, he's jumping in. So he was in there, and Hyla, and even Alex jumped in a little bit.
Lovely,
you know, he's just almost 2.
The wife?
Yeah. So the wife and Alex, and yeah, he's almost 2. So but so it's the first time we've ever traveled with Alex, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't know exactly how he was going to respond to anything, even the plane ride, all these other things. But the minute he got on the plane, he was great.
Wow.
Had a great time. The minute he hit the ground, big smiles. And there were so many things that just opened up. Like there's a new, children that young, there's little pockets of just upgrade. I call them upgrades, upgrades. And all of a sudden he's counting, and he's talking, and he's moving, and he's laughing, and he's dancing, he's doing all these things that we were waiting for the next. And then it opened up here. So there's a lot of firsts.
That's perfect, because then you're seeing growth as well. And I do think Antigua brings that out. We were just talking about your creative side and putting yourself out there and experiencing new things. And I do think Antigua does offer that to a lot of people. So I'm pleased that you've came here, and I'm really thoroughly.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're happy with what you've
absolutely.
got.
And I have to add that it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's that untapped quietness that there's a lot lurking of paparazzi and crowds and the tourists left and right coming from all. It's just you feel it's.
Intense.
Yeah, right. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And I mean, if I'm here to ever bring more attention to the island, it's just the right attention. I guess,
exactly.
That I want to bring, because I want to keep it that accessible, untapped accessibility. I want to keep it on that. You know what I mean? So
incredible.
Regardless.
Yeah. So, what were your first impressions when you first arrived in Antigua?
First impressions, just beautiful island, quiet, peaceful, untapped beauty. But of course, I also noticed a lot of the construction, a lot of just the building. And it's kind of like when you see something so beautiful, obviously the next thing that goes with it is just having infrastructure to be able to support this. And how do I say, bring in, commerce and bring in all these things. Quiet luxury. I had that feeling, which I practice in my own fashion. My bags, I call it quiet luxury. Not too loud.
Yeah.
Everything you need, right? But in a beautifully packaged and subtle, right? And I look at Antigua as the same way. It's just kind of like, it's quiet luxury. It's beautiful. The structures, the villas. Of course, I'm at Villa Colby now. Just I can't even explain how beautiful the ground is. The premises is just from one step to, like, you see the pictures, right? You see the pictures, but then when you actually come, and the pictures don't do it justice anymore, because there's so much that was missed. And not to say that it was missed on purposely, it's just to say that there's so much more. There's so much detail. I'm a detail guy.
Yeah.
So to see the detail that you know, that the property owner Shelley put into Villa Colby is just chef's kiss, right?
Thought of everything, yeah.
Absolutely.
That is one thing I will say, because I've been to Villa Colby. I think it's a beautiful property, and I do think that the owner has really thought about everything and trying to capture that for people to see from just the photos. The feeling that you get when you walk in is a safe haven. You know, it's very tranquil.
Yes.
The colour palette that she's used, which I know you would appreciate. Yeah, it's really
absolutely.
relaxing.
Absolutely. Grade A job. And where are we here now?
Sugar Ridge. So
we're Sugar Ridge.
Villa Colby is actually, where's that? So just behind here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sugar Ridge, again, just the same, you know, right away coming in here and just taking pictures. It's just one of those, it's just everything is a moment, right? Everything you can capture, everything's a moment. And especially in the age of, you know, visual, not only do you give the visual for a great aesthetic online, but when you come here, you're just amazed with what you see online and what you see in reality. It mirrors it nicely.
Antigua's a good backdrop. In terms of Colby, the villa that you're currently staying at, what would you say is the favorite part of that villa?
Well, I know my family first would say the pool, of course. But again, for me, it's just the rooms and how they're set up. And I'm a details guy, you know what I mean? So I have my office, you know, first things first, I set up my office always, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the bedroom's very spacious. And again, just the aesthetics, the way what was chosen and how, you know, the colorway is very important.
Yeah.
The kitchen is well laid out. Again, there's nothing worse than, you know, just a bad layout, bad for the kitchen, right? We have a chef, which has been amazing.
Perfect.
So it's just to see him, you know, that if a chef could work around it nicely, then you know a regular family could work around it nicely.
Yeah.
I always say, right? Again, just walking in and, you know, just the aesthetics. It's just beautifully presented, beautifully staged, right? It's the first thing, because that's where the comfortability of home. You feel at home, and you watch the same thing with your kids, and they just already find their nooks. They already find their positioning, and that's special, right? Because when you go to a foreign place or somewhere you have never been before, you know, sometimes the kids are just they're actually holding on to you. You're in a home, but they're holding and saying, you know, like, where do we go from here? Adrian found his place, and even little Alex found his place. Hyla, she found her place, and I could sit there at the front door and watch them already operating like it's home, and that's very special. It doesn't happen all the time.
Definitely.
It's happened here.
Yeah, Colby is that place. Have you found that there's been anything surprising to you or unique on the island? Is there anything of note where you've thought that it's not what I was expecting?
To be honest, coming off the plane, right? It's everything you want to see, and when you're coming to a place for the first time, and it's the comfortability, just the safety. You feel home. And I've never been, right? So that's the first thing, because I've traveled a lot, and you know, it's rare you have that feeling right away. Usually you're like, okay, where's my taxi? You know, where's my driver? You know, I need to make sure I need to be just right. Nobody was coming up and, you know, and so on. There's a lot of different airports will have different, you know, different iterations, and it's kind of like there's something welcoming about Antigua, and it's just kind of like, I appreciate those small things.
Well, I actually agree, and I experienced the same thing when I came. They call it Antiguan time here. Everybody's on island time, and it's actually quite refreshing, because when you do come out, you do feel that sense of peace, because everybody else is relaxed and they don't try and push. So I agree with that. So far, what has been your favourite part of Antigua?
Well, you know, for Highland and I, you know, Darkwood Beach, you know what I mean? Perfect. But I have to, you know, we have to take it back to Stingray City, because the kids enjoyed themselves. And I think that's the most important thing, to see your kids enjoying themselves. Because for us, it's one of those things, adult time, and it's always the right time. But for the kids, it's sometimes they're picky. And for them to enjoy the turtles, for them to enjoy obviously the stingrays, but then there was the birds, and then there was, you know, the iguanas and all those things, and wrap that up into a whole perfect package. So then you have the adults taken care of, you have the kids taken care of. there's nothing really better than that.
Exactly,
right?
a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Most
I
definitely.
thoroughly enjoyed this.
Most definitely. Yeah. And I heard there's a lot of beaches here in Antigua, so I'm looking forward to just, pegging each one of them. Absolutely.
You are right. There is a lot of beaches, 365 to be exact.
Correct, absolutely.
And the colour of each of them, the water's crystal blue, depending on what side of the island on it changes.
Yeah.
With that, do you find that maybe you could draw some inspiration for you for creative side?
Absolutely, right? Again, when we're talking about locations to shoot and really bring in, so I have travel bags, right? So, what's better than shooting it in an element and to really show what it can do in the element that it's in, right? So then, I like to say that, the bags that I create, there's a lot of technology built into them for the elements. Funny enough that you can't really see because, again, quiet luxury, right?
Exactly.
So it's one of those things that is very subtle, the design, but is packed with all the things that you need for all environments. But it's beautiful to have such islands to shoot in and bring inspiration and so on and so forth. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's one thing that I was going to ask you. Is there anything that you need to remember when you're going on holiday, whether it be your travel bag, you want to travel in quiet luxury style, and
for sure.
Coming to Antigua, is there anything that you find that you need or you want?
First things first, sunscreen. Hey, first things first. We have special pouches for sunscreen.
Oh
wow. But yeah, I definitely travel. I have, because of my business, I travel everywhere with my tech, and it's very small, but it's very important to me because even though we're here to enjoy and experience the island, but it's one of those things being tapped in. So then, the type of travel bags that I have, I don't want to make it a shameless plug, but it's one of those things that it's perfect for my travel, and I built it that way for others to enjoy the same way, right? So it's kind of Hyla takes care for the kids. She has the list.
Yeah.
Because I'll always forget something, and I used to be on the list. I used to be in charge of the list until I have a full family, and now I realize I forget a lot of things.
Let go.
I always remember my laptop, but I seem to forget, the milk and the baby bottles. The baby bottles. I'm still getting used to it, but yeah, so far so good. You know what I mean? It's kind of we travel with everything that we need. You know what I mean? And wrapped up in a beautifully bundled bag that is my own.
Yeah.
I created.
Bring the bag, bring the sun cream, and you're good to go.
Absolutely.
On island at the minute, we talked about the development that you've noticed around the island. Do you find that you would ever consider moving here? Have you had a look at any of the real estate? Is it something you'd see in the future?
I mean, it's hard not to look at it, and it's not hard not to picture yourself in this environment for a long extended period of time. It's hard not to. The first things first is feeling welcome. And when you got that out of the way, all of a sudden, naturally in your mind, you're thinking, you know what I mean?
What's next?
And what's next? And absolutely, that unequivocally, yes. You know what I mean? I consider it, I've just been here, but I already consider it a second home because of the feeling and the people.
Yeah.
And all of these things that you put together that makes it's really hard not to think of investment. It's hard not to think of, finding a plot of land that I could, make my signature, because that's exactly it. That's what I do in my business. That's what I do in life. It's just kind of I'm an independent entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And I love putting my signature on things. So if I see an opportunity, I see an establishment, I see a place that I can put my signature on it, well then more power to it. Right?
The sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, for sure.
We've talked about so many things that you've been doing recently, and actually going back, you've obviously got a huge portfolio of things. There's nothing stopping you.
Absolutely not.
Currently, what are you working on?
Well, currently what I'm working on, I got a book deal.
Oh, wow.
So I got signed with ECW Press. They're an independent in Canada, and distribution from Simon & Schuster in the US. So the book is called Designing in the Dark. And Designing in the Dark, I like to explain that especially, marginalized designers, people of color, there's a lot of us that have not been, lifted in some places and in some points and in our careers and so on and so forth. And Designing in the Dark explains how we've gotten used to designing in the dark. And it's not something that you want to get used to, but we've gotten used to it. And I always say, like, if you've given us, imagine getting used to designing in the dark. If you were given this much light, what you can do, right?
Wow.
And for us, after the violence and the George Floyd and the Black Lives, all that stuff, that movement that happened, it opened up a lot of ideas of looking into marginalized in all categories and seeing, hey, wait a second, there might be something here. And there was a thing saying, if you're going to stop talking and listen. And I said, well, if they're going to stop talking and listen, I have a lot to say. And I'm going to express myself. At the same time, I'm going to bring other designers that might have felt marginalized and bring them to the light. And so I started an initiative called Black Designers of Canada, where I've brought a lot of high-end haute couture, modern contemporary designers that might have been overlooked. And I put them in a place where you could find them. So if you said to yourself, I never knew that there was, or like, man, I thought there was only like 10, designers in all of Canada. Well, now you know that there's hundreds, and I brought the hundreds together. But it's just to continually raise that voice, so we're no longer designing in the dark, we're designing in the light. So the book is not only that, and it's for all denominations, white, black, Asian, like all denominations, right? I'm giving you lessons. I'm giving you anecdotes to business. So I didn't go to school for what I've learned. But I was telling you earlier, I was given an honorary degree. So it's one of those things that, like, if you're seen, somebody will see you. If that help is there to amplify your voice, you'll be seen. And if you're seen, you'll be recognized. And if you'll be recognized, you will be embraced. You'll be seen. So, and that's what the book is about. But it's anecdotes. It's helping out that entrepreneur, white or black, and getting them to a place where they want to be. If they haven't been seen in any denomination, if they haven't been seen, or they want some of that. That's what the book is about. So,
well, the book sounds inspirational. The name and the title that you came up with is fitting, and I know that just listening to you today, it's really motivating to hear somebody say the things that, not to limit yourself.
Absolutely.
Use your creative side, and I think you've really shown us that here today. And I think travel, even coming to Antigua, it does inspire you to do a lot of things. We talked about something you've already noticed here for business opportunities, and
for sure,
you sometimes need that eye, but you also need to know that you can do it. And I think
most definitely
for the book, I'd be keen to give it a read. And yeah, like I say, inspirational and motivating. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Carly. I appreciate you.
Thank you. George, thank you so much for being here today. I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you, and I'm sure our listeners will want to know more about you, so they can catch you on, is it Instagram?
Instagram is real George Sully, and you could also catch me at georgesully.com.
Yeah, and multiple others.
And multiple others. That will take you through the rabbit hole of me, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to get your fill.
Perfect. Well, guys, if you want to know more about George Sully, all the details will be in the description below. If you want to see more of our videos, please like and subscribe to our channel below. Thank you.
Tuesday Chats with Nadia Dyson.